Hello there, buddies. Today I'm going to be giving a short educational video on something I received a question on in chat, in my comments, I should say, about how teams get to the map they'll be playing, how do they choose the sides, how big the teams are, that sort of thing. What we have here is the common term in competitive callouts called map ban phase. Now what happens is that at the beginning of a league, there'll be a schedule laid out and teams will be faced, hey, you're going to play this team this weekend, this team the next weekend, and so on. Now, when the teams first are paired together during the week, they'll say, hey, okay, we have to go through the map ban phase. Then they'll figure out a time in which they want to do the map bans. Now, what does map banning mean? Well, map banning means you get a table like this. So this is Merc and Philo right here. And the table is pretty much all blank in the beginning, so it's all white. And what happens is that the teams agree to a map ban time, and they'll go back and forth amongst all these different maps to say, hey, no, I don't want to play this one. Hey, I don't want to play this one. And they'll go, each team generally gets one ban per go. And so you could see here, you could follow the lead, or you could follow the history and how they did it. So Philo, there's a coin flip at the beginning of the map ban too to see who'll go first. And they could choose, sometimes they could choose server or side, but sometimes it's just, hey, just pick the ban first, and we'll do a middle ground server no matter what. Here, Philo won the coin flip. They chose to ban first. Merc may host a server. So Philo decided to ban PH allies first. They said, hey, we don't want to ban PHL, or we don't want to play PHL allies. So they banned that first. Merc said, hey, we don't want to play Quarantine allies. So they went next. And it goes on and on and on and on and on amongst all these until you get to the very end, where the teams mostly are down to a couple maps. In this case, they usually the time to take or time to ban increases as the map banning phase goes on. And then the teams figure out, okay, which maps do we really want to play on? And then you get to down to the final few. So you could see we were down to SME Knight, Jareel Axis, Utah Knight, SMDM allies. And then you could see down below we have SMDM allies for Merc, or SMDM Knight allies for Merc being available. And so they decided Merc, towards the very end, they said, hey, we don't want to play Utah Knight allies, so they banned that. And then Philo said, hey, we don't want to play SMDM Day allies, and so they banned that. And then they came down to this final selection here of SMDM Knight, where Merc will play the allies and Philo will play the Axis. Okay, so that's a pretty straightforward thing. And then after this phase, they'll be voting. So Merc is favored to win 66 votes to 23. And then the teams will have a group chat, like a match chat in between these, where they will say, hey, what time do you want to play? So they have to figure out the time zone difference, and they'll propose this time. The other team will say yes or no, and then they'll figure out maybe another time, and they'll just go back and forth. And once they settle on a time, then it's locked in the books, and everything's good to go. Okay? So that's a little short educational video on how teams figure out what map they're playing, what side they're playing, what time of day they're playing. I think that pretty much covers it all. And then, of course, the schedule for everything is determined by the league officials, not by the teams, of course. Okay. All right. Let me know if you have any questions, buddies, in the comments. I'm more than happy to get back to you. But this is just, once again, short educational video on how teams get to this point. All right. Thanks for watching, buddies, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.